Happy birthday to me.
Para yes,
Obrigado. Yeah, man. Today people ask me how I feel today. I feel good every day. I don't have any reason to I know my birthday. I know all birthdays are special. And by the way, for the people who are here, this is a birthday show. It's not like our normal shows. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can come back and check out what we normally do. But my birthday I'm strong. I'm healthy. I have, any problems I have are those that I can fix by myself. The only problems I have are first world problems, as they would like to say. So I thought if anybody wants to drop by for a Q&A or hey, we had some questions we want to ask, that's what I'm here for today. But I got to tell you guys something interesting.
Let me have it. We need a drum roll. Drum roll.
We have a sponsor today.
That's what's up. Man. Congratulations. That's big, man. That's big.
Growth.
Hey. Of Jerky's Caribbean Kitchen in Sao Paulo, Brazil. But before I open because here's the thing, it's still sealed, right? Because I want to open and give a first impression of what his food is like, but I want to tell a story. Matter of fact,
Andre, first of all,
thank you, BK, for putting that in there. I'm taking donations. PayPal, me, YusefWateef, for my birthday. I want everybody to do a couple things. One, you know what? As a matter of fact, I'm going to put this into the chat box so that everybody has the information on how to follow this guy, because I want everybody to follow him online. I want everybody to check out his restaurant. But before I show you the rest of his restaurant and that turned out all wrong. Look at that. That's weird. So what I should have done, the formatting changed when I put it here. So it should have been like that. Health changed. Is that correct? Did that come out okay?
I'm not seeing anything on my end, honestly.
I give it a sec. It's a slight delay. So looks like you get a cell phone number. Because I'm also looking at on my mobile device. 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., 6 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. And I'm not certain how the phone number is supposed to look, but it looks like 94896-0153.
Yeah, because what I'm going to have to do then is put these all in separately instead of putting it all in at once, because it won't allow. Yeah. So here I'm going to put the second one in. I'm going to put this in bilingual for everybody, for Portuguese. So there's the first one. If you're in Sao Paulo, Brazil, as a matter of fact, I'm going to show everybody his menu screen, and I want to show everybody where to order. Now, I'm going to open it in a minute, but I want to tell a story while everybody is checking in and going on his Instagram. Because I've known Andre, who is the owner, proprietor, and basically the hardest working man in the field, since before this. You see, I knew him back when this was just a dream. I knew him back when this restaurant was a word he used to throw around, and we would all look at him and say, yes, 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 yes. We know it's coming. We know it's coming. Andre has sacrificed not just the blood, sweat, and tears. He sacrificed time with his friends, time with people he loved. I have watched him have several nervous breakdowns in the course of a day, dealing with paperwork and bureaucracy, when all he wanted to do was sell quality Jamaican chicken in Brazil. I have eaten this chicken personally before he ever sold any of it. I was eating his chicken when he had a pan of chicken that he would take to local bars, and they would allow him to open his grill in front of their bar to sell grilled chicken.
Nice. That's a grind right there.
Yeah. He had to catch on to how does the recipe work. You know, people in Brazil, they don't like spicy the way I like spicy and the way Jamaicans like spicy. Mm-hmm. How to modify the recipe, which basically means take out some of the chili pepper. But that's neither here nor there. I was there with him when people would get some chicken and then come back later with their friends and get more. And then, like, can I have some more chicken, please? I've seen people walk up to him and say, how many do you have left? We'll just order them and take some home so I can have some for lunch today or for tomorrow, and have him be in a situation where he's like, I can't just sell you all the rest of the chicken because there are other people who need to eat it. Even though those people aren't here yet, by the fact that you're here, you know, by evidence of your asking, I know they're going to come. And I've watched that happen. And so for him to
but that's how it works. He's got a product that's good.
For him to be at a place where this weekend he finally opened, and by the way, I spent a few seconds with him today getting this bag of chicken. The look in his eyes was it was the look of a man who hasn't slept very much.
Of course, those openings can be rough.
Yeah, very rough. I have been with him through test kitchens. I have watched him work with professional chefs, tell them what's right, what's wrong, and in the end have to go with his own. I've watched him, I'm going to put it out there, spend money he didn't even have. You understand? Spend money he didn't even have to get this thing going. And it makes me feel so good to finally be one of the first people to get some of this.
Big up to Andre, for sure.
Yes, sir. That's the grind.
That's, I mean, that lifestyle of, and if people who don't know, I came from a restaurant background. I've seen stronger men than him quit.
They say that opening a restaurant is one of the tougher businesses to open, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that he's got this much buzz and support going so early on is a great testament to his product.
Yep. It's a great testament to his product.
Much respect. Very much, very big, much respect to him.
Okay. Thank you two for showing up. You've got a loud background. It's always loud at your house. So here's what I was telling everybody. I don't know how much you two saw, but today we got our first sponsor. And I was telling them some of the horror stories of my friend Andre, who started Jerky's Chicken, and how I watched him grilling on the side of a road in front of bars to go from that to opening a restaurant. As a matter of fact, let me show everybody his Instagram page because I want you to follow, because I'm going to open this live here. You know, and this is the page. There it is.
There it is.
I've watched him go through artists. I've watched him go through color schemes. I'm proud to say that I was one of the people that he would bounce ideas off of, and it flattered me to know that a young businessman who has everybody wanting to work with him still chose to take my opinion into consideration as a professional. And, you know, being born in Jamaica, he took one of the products that everybody loves that nobody can seem to replicate and put it on the market. So no matter what, even if you're not in Brazil right now, I want you to subscribe to his Instagram page, Jerky's Official, because we need for it to grow. We need to get it noticed. We need people to see it. If you are in Brazil, let me show you something else. And this is where it's about to get good. Yeah, Rod knows Andre. Here's where it's going to get good. I'm going to show you. Look at that. That's his menu. That's beautiful.
That's pure art.
Nice. Yes.
Well put together. I love it. And they even have vegetarian options.
Well, yeah, they got vegetarian options. I mean,
wow.
I'm sure I'll have a strange day where I want one. Because I eat vegetarian like once a week, but it's not common. Let's see what else we got here. On his look at that. Is that the
some nice looking birds?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I'm just so proud to be part of it. Now, the last thing I'm going to share with everybody is this is, and you know what? Let me put this on the board here. This is where he delivers. And like I said, I want everybody to subscribe to his Instagram, even if you don't live in Brazil. Why? Because we need to get his numbers up. Here are the places that he delivers. Barra Funda, Bela Vista, Bexiga, Bom Retiro, Campos Elíseos, Centros, Taqueria, Cesar, Consolação, Iguinápolis, Jardins, Liberdade, Passeembu, Perdizes, Pompeia, República, Santa Cecília, Sé, and Sumaré. So he's got a pretty good coverage in a city the size of São Paulo, Brazil. So that was my the best thing I have for my birthday is to be able to, be one of the first people to break open one of my friends' new restaurants. My birthday is special for me, but everybody knows that I like to share the goodies. So let's get it cracking. Let's see what happens. Now, as you all know, like I said, it's still sealed. The staples from the delivery are in. It was delivered hot. There's a little steam stain right here. Doesn't destroy the aesthetic. So I'm gonna pop this open. And I'm gonna make sure I save that staple so I don't step on it later.
Smart man.
There you go.
Ask me how I learned that lesson.
Only takes one time.
Oh, it only takes one. Yeah. Thank you, Brother Rod. Thank you. Oh, okay. So, look at the package. Okay, so, of course, we've got the fork knife combo, blah, blah, blah. I got a refrigerator magnet.
That's cute.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I like it.
And here's
that's preparation.
That's incredible.
Good kind.
Absolutely.
It's a heavy kind with a big magnet on the back. So he spent some money with that. So look at that. You get a refrigerator magnet. And I'm going to give that a place of honor on my refrigerator. I think I'm going to put him next to Marcus Garvey. Let me show you guys my Marcus Garvey magnet.
Amongst good company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got the napkins, blah, blah, blah. Now, look at the color scheme. He didn't go with the regular white styrofoam, which he could have got away with, but
Absolutely.
he didn't. He's got points for that. He's got the delivery seal on it, meaning when it left the restaurant, I watched a horror story once about delivery people eating pieces of food.
Yeah, that's very common here. That's very common.
So
there's a documentary about that.
Seal on it to make sure you know. Now, if you look, try not to spill anything.
I did not know that, guys. I'm glad you said something.
It says jerkies here, but on the side, it's got different cities. It's got Sabor Original do Caribe, meaning original Caribbean flavor, imported to São Paulo, Brazil.
That's dope. I like it.
Nice.
Okay. Served hot. It's got some writing back here. Well, we can read that later. Let's open it. Okay, what do we got? Ooh.
The aromatherapy.
Yeah. Okay. So, how do I do this?
You gotta stand
Careful
up.
now.
There you
Careful.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Macaroni, coleslaw, and a quarter of a jerk chicken. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So, let's see how this works. Letitia, can you talk while I eat? Because I don't want to.
I was wondering, you just brought me on watch you eat chicken.
Nobody wants to see that.
That's dirty, isn't it?
You ain't sharing that with nobody.
I know,
That's
right?
cold.
I know.
haven't even eaten yet,
Well,
right?
we're all in different countries.
Overnight my peace, damn it.
I know, right?
So where are you guys located?
I'm in the States.
I'm actually in Osasco, right next to São Paulo.
Osasco?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in Guarulhos also, right next to São Paulo. Just a few minutes to São Paulo.
I am in Cosby, Tennessee, in the Smoky Mountains.
Beautiful area. Nice.
The Wooded Mountains.
Yeah, it's a
The what
temperate
mountain?
rainforest.
The
The
what?
Smoky Mountains.
Ah.
Smoky Mountains.
She's in
Why
the
do they
Smoky
call it
Mountains.
Why do they call it Smoky Mountain?
Well, it's a temperate rainforest, and there's lots of precipitation and fog and clouds. It's kind of nice today. Hold on. I live in a tiny house, so I was sitting on the porch because my son is watching Transformers. I didn't think you guys wanted to hear all that. So
Yeah, that's right. I think I've seen one of your videos before. Excellent.
yeah. So I'm in a valley, and there's a stream and a watering hole or swimming hole back there. And I was just sitting on my porch.
That's
Okay, so
excellent.
the coleslaw is good. It's got a little bit of just a tad of the vinegar to it, but it's not salty or anything like that. Now the macaroni, I'm not,
Man,
you
It's
gotta
your
tell me.
birthday. You can get away with it. You can get away with it.
It's your
today.
birthday. Go ahead.
You shouldn't tell me what's in the macaroni salad because I will rip it off.
happy birthday.
It has some kind of a twang
Look,
to it. Mm?
You shouldn't talk with food in your mouth, Wateef.
I'm sorry.
Look, I'll sing you happy birthday and you eat. How about that?
Okay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Wateef. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, sweetie.
Excellent. Excellent. Bravo.
Yeah.
See, that was much better than
Perfect.
watching macaroni fall out your mouth.
And for y'all who don't want to see macaroni fall out of my mouth most of the time, there you go. I'm taking birthday donations today. Now, here's the thing. We all know the problem with a piece of chicken is that when you cook a piece of chicken breast, it goes dry. That's the problem people have. Now, I happen to know, I don't know his recipe, but I do happen to know he marinades his for, I think, 24 or 48 hours so that when he cooks it, it's juicy. Because I'm eating this piece of chicken, it's coming off, no problem.
He's slow cooking it then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's probably doing a nice marinade. Oh, yeah. The same concept like down in the South. So if he's got it soaking in like 24 hours in a brine or something like that, those flavors are going to get deep into that, right down to the bone. Throw it on the grill, hopefully charcoal or wood, and just let it go slowly. Gas is quick. So if you want to pump out enough product for people, but hey, do what you do. Make it
I
taste
like
good.
wood smoking personally.
Yep. You get the hardcore people when they start looking for like an apple tree or some specific fruit tree to put some flavors in it.
Yeah, I do apple wood and mesquite, low and slow smoke.
Man, you guys are talking way above my head. I'm just a hibachi type of guy with a couple of charcoal briquettes, hot dogs, hamburgers, cold a day.
Get started.
You know what?
Yeah.
I should probably not eat all this right now in front of y'all because
you ain't got enough for everybody. So yeah, that's rude as hell, man.
While it's fresh,
I know.
I know when I get to the wing, I'm gonna put it down and I'm gonna I bite the wing at the joint, and you know the tip, the little tip. I eat the whole thing, no bones. I eat all those bones. I just crunch it down.
Yeah,
and then I have a technique where the rest of it, I put it in, and then I just pull out the two bones on the wing.
And you leave them intact. Hey,
there you go.
A wing.
Don't worry. I've done it before. Yeah. I've had people just stop and look at me like, wow, I can't believe it. I say, yes, it happens like that. Waste nothing. Yes, the cartilage. Yes. That meat chewing gum. Yes, it gets gnawed on a little bit too.
So, thank you, Shayla. Wow. So once again, thank you for today's sponsor. And once again, I'm going to put his information there. I want everybody to follow him online. And I definitely want everybody to, if you're in São Paulo, Brazil, Craig, you and I are going to definitely have to sit down and eat some chicken together.
Absolutely.
I want everybody to support this business.
What about me? Just Craig.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot you were here. You haven't said anything in a while. I'm sorry. The three of us.
Absolutely.
We're all gonna go. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So let me wipe my face because I've got chicken juice on my face.
Yes, people, the mustache has been seasoned for his birthday.
The mustache.
The royal mustache.
Oh, now we got somebody who's making song requests. Look at what Kiki sent. I said, you come on and sing it. I sent her a link so she can come and sing herself.
Sounds like a challenge.
So I sent her a link. Oh yeah, the chicken you mean? The chicken is legit. I mean, I opened it right here in front of you so you could see my face when I ate it, and it tastes like hard work. It tastes like hard work. But see, that's the problem. When you find some place like that you like and it's close, the only competition for him that he has is a totally different restaurant. There is a group of African immigrants that opened this restaurant. The food is extremely affordable, and you don't get to order. They only make 2 or 3 things a day. It's one of those restaurants where they put 2 or 3 things on the stove that day.
Mm-hmm.
Man, her food is out of this world. Out of this world. So having said that, say this. It's a day for me that I've been looking forward to because it's on a Sunday. I get to relax and I get to step back. My birthdays here in Brazil have gone so fast. I don't even know. I mean, I'm not a big celebrating birthdays kind of guy, but I step back sometimes and it's really easy to find out how fast it can go by. It's
You've been there 5 years, yeah?
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Yep. 5 years. 5 years. And it's been such a fast 5 years that I don't even know what to do, what to say. I mean, I'm glad I'm here. I'm enjoying my life here. Business is good, great friends. Shout out to the people in other countries who aren't doing as well. My birthday here this year has seen a lot of success with my YouTube channel, making so many new friends, professionally, personally, and online. And I'm grateful for all of you for it. You know, especially grateful to people like BK from the Rockies because he's one of those people that motivated me to even say, well, why did you stop there? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He says, well, why don't you start a Patreon for the people who ask you a whole bunch of questions but need a lot of answers? And I did not have a good answer as to why I did not. And he got me to do this, which is a lot of you know, this is where I do a lot of in-depth things that are not nearly as much fun as YouTube, but this is where I answer a lot of in-depth questions about travel, money, investment-related, things of that nature. I actually feel guilty about my friend Craig because Craig and I have been talking. How long were we talking online before you got to Brazil?
It's probably almost a year.
I remember I was sending him pictures on my phone, video articles. Can't wait for you to come down and hang out. I was going to show him the moon. He got here. And how many months did you get before you had to be locked in the house?
I had about a month and a half before COVID hit. And then, yeah, I've been on lockdown ever since. But it's all good,
That's
though.
crazy.
Bad timing.
You know, and so, hey, is that Tato?
That's what's up.
Yeah, he's hanging out in Superman underoos watching Transformers.
If we
But
could all be so lucky.
Those are the good old days.
Shoot.
So yeah, he had about 6 weeks. We got maybe 3 good restaurants in because I know you're still moving your stuff. And I said, all right, as soon as you get settled, I'm going to start showing you some other places. And then you got locked in the house. And I got locked in the house.
Yep, been here ever since.
So we got some making up to do. Loris, I'm grateful to have you around. Because when I think about Loris, I think about money. Loris likes money as much as I do. And more than having money, investing ourselves into making money. You know, Loris is one of those guys that just because we understand Bitcoin doesn't mean we don't need to go farther and start studying something like Forex.
Right.
You know, why not go farther? Why not know more? Okay, you got 4 or 5 streams of income. Why not get 6 or 7? And that's one of the things that he and I really push each other. You know, again, before COVID happened, at least once a week we'd call, hey, let's meet downtown. I got an idea. You know,
Nice.
I saw this online and I saw that money making venture. Let's try this for a month and see if it works. And sometimes it didn't, but we were always on the hustle, and I appreciate that.
That's like a perfect mastermind.
Yeah,
that's a perfect mastermind. Somebody you can bounce ideas off of to get started. I mean,
definitely need more motivation in that realm.
For sure.
Yeah, I really appreciate him because he's the guy who calls when he calls and say, okay, you got to do this, you know, and then I have to focus and I'm like, what if I don't do it, you know? So I get that push all the time, you know. So it's been a really great journey with him, you know, for the short while we've known each other. It's been amazing. Learned a lot from him, done a lot together, and hopefully we're going to get it on and on and on and on.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn from you too.
And my dear, sweet, beautiful friend Letitia, Lady Frost, I just miss you so much. You know that?
Well, I miss you too. I don't know, like everything's been crazy because since I already work remotely, you know, when COVID happened, like my workload doubled because like I was already working remotely. And my main job is I do human resources for a government subcontractor, and I'm a headhunter in the tech industry. And then I also run a voodoo shop online.
What is that?
And so I basically offer spiritual items for ancestor reverence and African diaspora religious traditions. Candles, crystals, you know, that kind of thing. So, and I also have, you know, tiny house community, and we I have chickens and ducks and rabbits and an orchard and gardens. So I've been doing a lot of land development and stuff like that. I had talked a little bit. Wateef's been trying to get me into Bitcoin, but I just hadn't had the concentration to focus on it in the last bit.
You know, I want to show him. It's Smoky Mountain Hoodoo Conjure, correct?
Yes.
And I like your logo, the SMHC. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put it on the screen for everybody to check out if they want to do some business with you, order some of the stuff that you have on tap. And you make all this by hand?
Yes. Everything's handmade and done at the proper times and with wildcrafted. And wildcraft is when you walk through the woods and you pick out the herbs, because we do a lot of lots of stuff grows out here. And I have gardens and herbs in pots that are more rare, but everything else is locally sourced. That's my Facebook page. I have the stores on Etsy. That's a Better Business floor wash. Now, Hoodoo and Voodoo has a lot of cleansing and like things to clear. So that's a floor wash that you're supposed to use when you're like preparing your space, like your office, your place of business. You and it smells really great. And you use it to like wash your floors and any doorways to kind of invite new opportunities into your space. So that's what that particular item is that you're seeing right there.
Okay, let's go down a little bit. By the way, I just learned something new. What do you say?
Wildcrafting.
Wildcrafted.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just walk around with the stuff you need?
Yeah, so this property is 32 acres. the property that I own is 22 acres. So that's a lot of space, you know, and it's virgin forests and woods and stuff. So you get a lot of the herbs and items in their natural habitat. So I just basically, instead of, you know, digging up things, you know, so we have gardens for stuff that doesn't grow here normally that we just plant, you know, like fruits and vegetables, some of those kind of things. But like the herbs and stuff that grow in specific environments, basically I just walked around in the woods, you know, with plant labels, and you stick them where they're growing during the summer. So that way, when they come up the next year, you already know, okay, well, I've got ginseng that's, you know, marinating over there because that takes a long time to grow. I've got Solomon seal. I've got heal all herb. I've got wild mint, a bunch of different types. And plantain grows all over the yard. So there's a bunch of different herbs and stuff that I use in lemon balm, lemongrass, you know, dandelions, all kinds of things. Because basically it's not like people, I think, get confused about holistic medicine and herb craft, because holistic medicine is, I don't know, some bunk, but all of the modern medicines that we have and perfumes and stuff that we have came from nature. They just, like, you know, industrialized them, processed them. Like an essential oil is distilled oils of a specific plant. So you can still use those things in lesser concentrations. That's how, you know, like you can make tea from lemon balm. If you distill it and get the oil, you have to have lots and lots of the actual plant, because you're getting, you know, like an ounce of oil from, you know, hundreds of plants that have been distilled into a jar. So a lot of the herbal remedies and stuff, I'm in the process of getting a certification for that, so I can offer more of those types of things on the shop. But I kind of grew up in this area doing that. And, you know, before you end up at the doctor, and it's not just, you know, like people I think sometimes think that it's like, oh, well, you know, get some snake bones and like shake it over your face and then you'll get over the flu. That's not what happens. It's not that. It's not that. So, I mean, a lot of it for me anyway is herb craft and, you know, the kind of medicine that we had before, you know, before there was the pharmaceutical industry. And in Europe, there's a lot of that kind of medicine and health food supplements and that kind of thing. But the United States is still kind of behind as far as licensing goes, because people think everything is snake oil here, but it's not. So it's like, you know, the difference is, go ahead.
I got a question for you. Did you learn by apprenticeship, or how did you learn herbology? How did you learn that?
Well, my family is pretty, I mean, I cannot tell you the amount of disgusting tasting concoctions my dad made me take when I was a kid. But I mean, because, you know, you can do things like, you know, just take a spoonful of dry herbs and eat it. He was not even about no culinary anything. He was like, eat this, it'll make you feel better. And I was like, eh. But I mean, you can take herbs and, you know, dry them and grind them up and put them in like capsules, like the cellulose capsules. And so there's, you know, I make teas. Sometimes I use honey as a base, because as long as honey doesn't have water in it, it lasts forever. You know, so there's ways to keep. Yeah,
I
like
read
5,000 years.
They have found honey in the tombs of pharaohs that was 100% edible.
I believe it.
Because honey was a sign of wealth. If you could get something that exotic and that sweet, because it was packed and sealed with no water, totally dry, and they said you could 100% break it off and put it in your tea.
Somebody has a question.
Yeah, there's a question there for you. Do you have?
Yeah, I have Hydron.
Hydron Conqueror. What is that?
It's a root. It's a root that is used in spiritual practices. But you can't always get it, and a lot of what's going on now is kind of a lot of the just like run-of-the-mill Amazon shopping and whatever. You can't, because the supply lines have kind of been disrupted and slowed down with COVID. There's a lot of things that you could just order off the internet that you can't get unless you're where it grows now. I'm sure it'll probably go back the other way at some point, but right now there's just a lot of disruption. Just because of the pandemic and shipping and everything. Like everything from China is backed up like 4 or 5 weeks. I've got stuff that I ordered in February that still hasn't gotten here yet.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of the shops, like some of the things that just grow here naturally that I have, tons and tons of, if you live someplace where that particular tree or that particular herb doesn't grow, you can't get your hands on it. So some of the things that I'm trying to put on the shop are just, seasonal. So when they're blooming or blossoming or when I can harvest them, then I'll list them on the shop. But the rest of the time of the year when they're not available, they're just not available. So
Gotcha.
I just learned
that's interesting. Yeah. What?
you guys
Go
all
ahead. I was trying to say
y'all all like,
because coming from an African background, that I can actually relate to that because I've had times where I was injured and my grandma just came and no need to go to the hospital. She said, "Oh, we'll just put your leg on the pillow and then I'll just mix some herbs and do some massage and in a week or two, it's over. I'm back running." So I can actually relate to that. When you said your dad made you taste awful stuff, I've drank a lot of stuff.
we'll see.
So
Look, for example, I'm going to pick something out the grass and tell you guys about it. Okay, so this leaf here, hold on, this is plantain. Now it grows all over my yard, all over this whole meadow that's over here. It's all in the yard. But plantain is good for skin lesions, insect bites. If you get a cut, you can pack plantain on the cut. It pulls out infection and it helps to seal wounds up and helps keep it clean. So if you, say if you're out here camping and you get injury or scraped, you can use the leaves like grind up into a poultice and wrap it with some gauze so that it keep it clean and keep it from getting swelling, keep the swelling down and irritation down until you can get to the hospital. So, I mean, living out in the country, you kind of have to know that stuff. The nearest hospital is like 30 minutes from here.
Wow.
Whoa.
So it's just, it's just like one of those things that I learned. And as I got older, I just learned, I'm very interested in being self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And I have solar panels on my house. I know my first degree is culinary, so I mean I can cook too. It's probably not Jamaican food, but
All right. All
I
right.
did that for a while. So at this point, it's like I like the aesthetics of things. I like learning all the different formula. The inside of my house is kind of an apothecary. I have jars and bottles and equipment like all over the place, and so. Especially now, like with everything's going on with COVID, they're like for small things, for a regular cold, for bronchitis, for bee stings, for all this different stuff. There's no reason to go to the hospital for that because then you just be trapped there.
Right.
Wow.
So unless it's a real emergency, there's no reason to go to the hospital.
So urgent care
And
needs you.
I feel confident. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm pretty good about like people come and will ask me, well, what kind of tea helps this? What kind of, there's herbs that you can smoke when you have asthma that opens up the alveoli in your lungs so that you can breathe better. So you don't always have to have a pharmaceutical drug because all of that stuff came from somewhere. Like white willow bark, like the bark of a white willow is where they distill aspirin from. But those grow, and people don't know that. Nobody knows that. And it's just because like we think, oh, you just go to the pharmacy and eat a pill and be done with it. But all that stuff comes from somewhere. It didn't just like appear out of nowhere. It came from nature. So
I do agree with that. In my opinion, we have become very pill dependent. Like, oh, I have this itch. Here's a pill for it. Nah, go take a bath. Go do something else before you need to work right. But like,
yeah, pill, you probably need to take a bath much.
Yeah. Clean the area,
Wow.
Like,
well, there's a phrase called a pill for every ill.
And that's what we've become in the West.
Feels like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where medicine is a good thing. Medicine is something we should have. but there is such a thing as over medicating or believing. You know, one of the things that I've read about a monster of our own creation was we would have never in the United States had the crisis, the opioid crisis, if we hadn't been teaching people that pain is bad, that just because it hurts means you must stop it. In some cases, it hurts to tell you something else is wrong. But doctors will just hand out. I mean, what's interesting is in Brazil, you can get over-the-counter everything that's not an opiate. 90% of the stuff that they say is a prescription-only drug in America, you can't sell it on the corner, so who cares if you buy it? Whereas here, I mean, they are so strict on opiates and opiate things. My friend said, who is a doctor, he said, you would have to come in with most of your arm burned off for the doctor to sit back and say, I wonder if I should give him something stronger. On the other hand, all the other medicines you need, they're just like, here you go. You got asthma? Here's a $3 inhaler. What else you got? You got headache? Here you go. We don't care. But opioids in America are different. They will restrict things that everybody uses commonly, but opioids, they will write those prescriptions and hand them out like candy.
Well, there's kind of a big pushback going on about that now. There's actually a class action suit against, I can't remember if it's Pfizer, one of the pharmaceutical companies, that was, because they were basically, what happened is they were really pushing doctors to prescribe those things. Like, I don't know if you guys know what the drug rep business is like, you know, because people were like, the drug reps would go in and wine down these doctors, and you know, they get kickbacks if they prescribe a certain amount of whatever drug it is.
That's correct.
And that happened with I can't remember, it was like one of the hydrocodone or one of the codeine or one of the opioid pills. Oxycodone. And so there's oxycodone. So there's a class action lawsuit going on now, because I've been seeing, even online, because I don't have regular cable, I just stream all my services. But you know, for people who have been affected by that, I saw that recently. So there is some pushback on it, and they've been trying to limit the amount of pain medication that they do prescribe, but it's like kind of swinging the pendulum the other way for, like my mom doesn't like taking any kind of medication, but she has a broken back that is an ongoing, you know, issue. So there is a level of pain management that some people have to do because they have ongoing issues. And she doesn't ever like to get prescribed those, but I have another couple friends who, you know, like on some days they just can't function if they don't have something else.
Right.
And they can't even get their prescribed medication right now because of that ongoing issue. So it's like,
oh, wow.
I mean, I always think about it like, you know, they say pain is bad, but one of the things that I think about is, you know, just like when you work out, when you first start working out, you're sore all the time.
Ooh, yes.
Yes.
Everything, you feel like you're going to die like the first 3 or 4 weeks. And then after that, you start looking forward. Like if I'm not sore the next day, then I obviously didn't work that muscle group out enough. But most people that don't work out don't have that experience to know that sometimes pain means your muscles are building, or pain means that the healing process is where it should be. But like every little thing, you know, you stubbed your toe, you scratch something, you don't have to put something that's numbing on it all the time.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you said that. You know, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've done a little bit of kickboxing, not even enough to call it amateur. And every now and then you see a guy get his nose broken. It's not the end of the world. There was a guy who got his nose busted. He goes to the doctor. The doctor, you know, they have to line it back up again. He said, and he was telling us, they gave me a 30-day prescription for oxycodone for a broken nose. Now, anybody who fights knows a broken nose really sucks. But it's not like you can't sleep that night. The pain is so bad.
Right.
I'm about to say, wait a minute. They should have just lined it back up and make sure you can breathe out of it and take some time off. Yeah.
That's it.
He said they were going to give him a 30-day supply, but he knew, thank goodness, because, and again, this breaks my heart because I know a lot of fighters who get an injury, and it's a combination of two things. They don't know, and there are also a lot of shady managers who will say, well, just take the prescription until you have your next fight, and after your next fight, you'll get it fixed. But if you're training for 3 months and you're taking a pain medication for something wrong with your ankle that you should have had fixed, but you can't really stop training to fix it, 3 months, that's a long enough time to develop a habit to anything.
Absolutely.
And you're going to continue the injury.
Well, it's also because what happens with the opioid receptors and your pain receptors is that it blocks your normal your body's response. So when you go off of the pain medication, everything that you couldn't feel before hits you at the same time.
Ooh.
So that's why coming off of it is so hard, because your body gets used to that block being in to block the pain.
Right.
So even like the normal pain that you would just feel that your body already blocks out every day from walking around, from, you know, like getting up, jumping up and down, doing whatever you do during the day, those normal aches and pains that our bodies all have, when you're not taking anything, your body regulates it. So it's like you the what is it, triage that your brain does to let you know when something's wrong gets shut off when you're on a pain pill. So
Wow.
when you come off of those, then everything like everything hurts. Your chewing hurts because you're crunching, you know,
Right.
your elbows hurt, your knees hurt, your back hurts, everything in your body hurts. That's why that's so hard because then people are going through withdrawal because they think something's wrong with them when it's just the normal wear and tear that you have on your body. Does that make sense?
Reset. Yeah, body's basically going to reset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There was a very famous fighter named Mark Kerr. HBO did a heartbreaking documentary on called The Smashing Machine, because he got addicted. Unfortunately, he got addicted to opioids while he was a fighter, and it just wrecked his life. I mean, yeah.
If it's a story I remember, yeah, that was a rough one. He put his body through the ringer.
Yeah, and it was hard to watch because I remember Mark Kerr when he was the Smashing Machine, when he was that dude who was just lighting people up. He was just a monstrosity. And you look at the long-term damage that all of you did, combined with, you know, the training that you shouldn't be doing. Like, there's sometimes when your body tells you, okay, you need to put down the training for today. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put a link. Oh, thank you for the happy birthday. You, if anybody wants to watch the trailer for the documentary, it's a hard to watch documentary. It's even harder if you knew him when he was a young man and he was a fighter, and you watch him just break down over the course of years that he looks about twice as old as he actually is. But I was going to say about, you know, getting back in and hurting, and I remember talking to BK about this. My gym opened a while back, and I was telling him my gym opened. They sent me an email. They sent me a message. They said, come on down, make an appointment. We're open for 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the evening. Just come back. It's my weightlifting gym down the road, and I'm still not comfortable going back, even though it smells like a hospital in there. They have people whose only job is to walk around doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I know that I've got a lot of buddies of mine who are professional trainers, certified trainers, and they all been talking about how as soon as gyms open, they're getting guys coming in, boom, torn knee, boom, ripped shoulder. Because let's say you lift 100 pounds before, you say, okay, well, I haven't been in the gym in 3 months. I'm going to lower my weights by 20%, which somebody who works out 20%, that's like invisible. But he said, my buddy said, you need to really start out maybe at 50%. Because everything it's not just your muscles. Your coordination is gone. Do you know how long it takes a man to learn how to squat adequately? Not perfectly, not Olympic perfect, but just an adequate squat to where your coach will say, this is acceptable. Do you know how long that takes to get the correct form and foot placement on a standard bench press?
The amount of time it took for me just to learn how to lift without hurting myself.
Right
when I was a kid in high school, shoot, I know I was doing it wrong. Doing every stupid thing I thought I saw off a TV or off a magazine. Sheesh. I thank God I was a kid then, because I recovered. But now, in my age now, oh no.
Can't do it.
Yeah, I'm just now recovered from a kayaking injury I had like in February.
Dang.
Oh, takes time. Oh yeah. Time wins.
Time wins.
Time is undefeated.
What I'm going to do is put a link for 2 things here for anybody who's interested, because this is the one I'm going to go back to. I'm not going to be able to go back to any complicated, fancy lifting schedules with complex crossovers. I'm gonna go back to a good old fashioned strong lifts 5x5. It's not pleasant. It's not even exciting, but it's effective. It will put my man. I've lost about 20 pounds, and I would say minimum 10 pounds of that was just pure muscle gone.
Wow.
Gone.
Gains.
I was looking back on some of my Instagram pictures of what I would go out doing kettlebell, because again, that's something else. Craig and I were supposed to be having our Saturday kettlebell club.
Yep.
Nice.
That's gone. I can put my finger into my muscle now. I couldn't do that before COVID. I couldn't stick my finger all the way into my bicep. Like, that was too hard. My shirts aren't as full as they used to be. I feel like, is this what it's like to be a high school girl, Letitia? Like, how do I look? Do I look flat?
No, it's more like,
I mean,
you know,
I don't know.
has
I've been
changed.
thick my whole life.
Yeah, I'm like, do I look small? I'm walking past the mirror, I'm looking at my thighs, like, my
Like,
thighs look
something's
small.
off. Something's different.
You know what I did is I
I
also
mean,
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was
Please.
going to say I lost 20 pounds too, but it's probably not muscle.
Congratulations.
I'm still looking at that kettlebell like, what?
You mean you haven't been using your kettlebell that you were so proud to tell me you bought?
I mean, a little bit, but like I said, my workload doubled, and then the shop was busy, and I
challenge you to do 50
everything got
swings a day.
everything.
50 swings a day is all you have to do.
That's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I like that response. Like, no, it's not going to happen.
She's honest. She's honest.
Hey,
By the way, on YouTube, I just shared it. I put together a 5x5 tutorial page with the things that are done at the Starting Strength Academy by Ripperto, the guy who wrote all those things. 5x5, it's 5 exercises. You do 5 sets of 5, but you only do 3 a day. It's not fun. It's not exciting. You're in and out in probably an hour, but it's what you would call a brutally effective linear progression. Linear progression means you start low and you're adding, I think, 5 pounds a week on everything except deadlift, where you're adding like 10 until you get to your maxes. And whenever you can't hit a number, whenever you can't get to the 5th of 5, the next week you have to go back 1 full progression. Mm-hmm. And the way your human body works is 1 or 2 more and you break past it again. Now, everybody's going to hit an upper limit, but on the way there, you get a whole lot of mass packed on, and you get a whole lot of power packed in. And so I'm going to go back to that, but I will admit I'm scared. I'm scared.
Just take your time, slow and steady. You know your body.
Yeah,
if it
you
doesn't
know your
feel
body.
right, stop.
And this is the thing. I never felt like my age would be a detriment to my exercise for most of my life, at least until I was 60. But that's because I've always done something physical. Kickboxing, boxing, jiu-jitsu, judo, more jiu-jitsu, something all the time. Kettlebells on Saturday. But when you have that hard break,
yeah.
When you have that hard break, and I know my muscles are going to be like, whoa, hey, I thought we quit all this nonsense.
Right. Yeah, you got to give yourself time to adjust.
Got to ease into it.
Like you said before, time wins.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
cognizant of that.
To Ada, when my friend who just logged off, Letitia just logged off, because when she gets back, you saw she had her hair wrapped. And I was going to say to her, we need to take her downtown to where all the women get their African hair wraps and all the different kinds and designs, because, you know, I wouldn't know the right place to go, but I do know there's literally a million ways that a woman is going to wrap her hair, and it's better for somebody like my friend Ada to go with her. Huh?
I know.
Oh, well, yeah.
Lawrence, right.
Of course.
And all your friends are probably the businessmen who import that stuff.
Yeah. I have some people who do that.
Hey, that's another brainstorm right there, bud.
It is. Sounds like another idea.
Oh, did you hear what I just said, Letitia? I was going to say, when you come, I want to introduce you to Ada, because she can probably tell you some other places. And then, you know, of course, Lara's chimed in because him being African, there's a section where a lot of African prints and scarves, and Brazilian and Afro-Brazilian people, and a lot of women get their dresses and materials. I mean, a lot of women just go buy bolts of material and take them to a lady who makes dresses and get their dresses made. But I was looking at your hair wrap, and down here, you will find every color combination, design, glowing, non-glowing, shimmering, tied on the side, tied on the back. I mean,
well, it's really just a piece of fabric, and this thing can be wrapped like 30 different ways. I just did it like this.
You gotta remember, we're men. For us, it's magic. Like, wow, it's different today.
And
it is magic.
Yeah.
What's it, ours?
They actually import some of the materials. They have to actually import. I have some guys who actually import them from Africa, because most of the ladies here prefer the African fabric, because it has a way to do it. I don't understand anything about that, but
it's because it's weighted. It's got to be weighted a certain way, and it has to have a certain level of stretch for it to wrap correctly.
Yeah, so these guys import this stuff and actually sell a lot here in Brazil.
So yeah, that's one of those. When you get down here, when you bring the kid,
okay, well, I'll do it.
Is he demanding your time again?
He wants a tattoo of a cupcake.
Oh, are you holding the tattoos hostage? Like he can't?
No, he came outside. He came outside, and I was trying to answer his question when I knocked myself out of the chat, because he was like, "I want a tattoo," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" I got him like a pack of these little like water tattoos, and it's got popsicles and ice cream and stuff on it. And he told me he wanted a cupcake tattoo. And I told him he have to wait till I was done.
And shout out to brother Craig, who just gave us that, talking about getting back in the gym. The Simple and Sinister is a style of kettlebell workout that, Craig knows far more about kettlebells than I do. I'm an enthusiast. I know a couple basic exercises, and I do them often. And he knows quite a few more. Actually, I was asking, did you get your certification before you left America? Craig?
Correct. Are you muted?
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I did not get a chance because my timeline was so short. But I have been doing kettlebells for probably on my own for about 3 years, so I know a couple of little things based on my own journey.
100 one-handed swings, 10 Turkish get-ups, and the 10x10 swing must be completed in 5 minutes.
Now, for the average person, break that down. So I probably start off, if you're a beginner or intermediate, I probably would do that, cut that in half for sure, and double the time. But if you want
because
cardio, you got to lose some weight. I
definitely have to get back on it.
Do it.
Yeah,
because I got that kettlebell to get prepped for the festival season. Because we usually have an event every 2 weeks out here, the whole season from March until October. But COVID canceled the entire festival season, so that hasn't been happening.
So
usually I'm hiking mountains every day.
For the Brazilians in the house, you think that they're going to get rid of Carnival for the year?
Yes, it's already been done.
I haven't heard it yet. Okay.
Hold on, I'll pull it up for you. Carnival Rio has been officially, let me see, officially canceled, and it hit a couple of news sources, international news sources, the other day. Not postponed.
Economically, that's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
Damn.
The governor of São Paulo, Dori, I think he held a press conference talking about that. So hopefully the vaccine is out, and then maybe they might consider bringing it back.
Here's the problem with that. Do I believe in vaccines? Yes. Do I believe that it can be done that quickly?
I wouldn't buy it.
I mean, they've already had cases where people have had COVID and recovered and then caught it again after 2 or 3 months. So the antibodies and stuff from this particular strain don't last as long as like a normal infection or virus does. So
It must be
that's been my
producing
biggest
variations
concern.
then.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, I'm concerned about them trying to rush a vaccine out, because just because you get it, if it's something that you can get and then get again within
Right.
a couple months, that's like a different thing. Like if that's the flu vaccine is, it mutates every year because that's what they all do. But if COVID is something that is either mutating or your body just doesn't hold on to the antibodies for that long, then that, I mean, because most vaccines are made from the either the inert virus or antibodies that your body or a person's body would produce to prevent you from getting it. But there's already been cases. I have a friend that works at Inova as a nurse in DC. And so I've been listening to her, and my other friends are in the medical profession, instead of like watching all of the crazy news, because there's a bunch of conflicting stories all the time. So boots on the ground.
Yeah, mainstream is getting kind of when it comes to this, because like I was telling people early on, the best sources I was listening to were people who went through it and they were doing their stories on YouTube. That gave me a better idea of like what issues they were dealing with. They were like, yeah, I was congested, but I didn't produce any snot. And I was like, well, that means you're inflamed. And I'm just kind of listening to them to just get an idea. All right, what are the symptoms? Because I got a better idea from the people who were going through it. Like one of the interviews with Scarface, the rapper out of Texas, he was talking about things. Also, Slim Thug, another guy out of Texas. I think they got it around the time they had a rodeo or something. And like Slim Thug was like, yeah, I had a tickle in my throat. I said, okay, so it's something in my mind. I was like, it's probably airborne. It must have gone in through the mouth. Maybe they were talking to a group of people or something. And I'm just kind of piecing it together, because I was like, I couldn't seem to get anything straight from mainstream, because I was like, all right, is it the flu? Is this a cold? Is this allergies? It just wasn't clear.
Right.
And the scary part is we're still not 100% sure.
Yeah.
And they're still learning ways in which people actually get in contact and get this virus. What the mainstream is really, really confused, because they put out one thing today and they put out another tomorrow and a million the week later, because they say, oh, you go out, you walk on the streets. If someone who had COVID had spat on the street, you walk with it and you come back home and you something falls on the ground and you pick it up, you can get it that way. So I'm like, everyone's gonna get it, because if you go out and someone who's had COVID has done something on the street, so that means everyone's gonna get it. No need to stay home, and then after they say, oh no, that was wrong, so they're like confused and contradicting one another, So
they're gonna have to analyze at least a year's worth of data. That's if the virus doesn't mutate before anybody has any type of resolute plan.
Yeah, it sounds like it's probably going to change. I definitely, this is one of those times where people need to stop worrying about the product and start putting the research in. Like,
Absolutely.
Take time to actually research it. Like, fundamentally, what is it?
Exactly.
What parts are there variations, mutations occurring? And then from there, once we learn about it, we can kind of learn how to treat and fight against it.
The other problem is that even if we don't figure out how to fight it, when the concept of something like quarantine, self-quarantines, and masks becomes politicized, we've already lost. I said that she just went shopping, and there was a lady who walked in with no mask, and the door attendant said, "Excuse me, ma'am, you have to put a mask on, and we have courtesy masks." I'm not wearing a mask. They had to call security on her ass.
There's been people like that when I've gone to, I usually go to the store once a week and mask and glove and everything. And there's people here that have been doing that. There was some people that came into Costco and sat down because they had to physically have somebody remove them, because even though the governor and stuff has issued the mask mandates, people are still protesting by going in stores and not wearing personal protective equipment, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I do want to say I happy birthday, Wateef. And I've got to go because I've had some guests come and it's hanging out waiting for me to get off the phone.
Okay, bye. Bye-bye.
All good.
Bye.
So it was
Nice to see
good
you.
talking to you guys again. I'll see you around.
All right, take care.
Pleasure. Be safe.
All right. You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I wish there weren't so many horror stories about that.
Yeah. I think that's going to hurt the economy more. I'm like, look, it might work, it might not work, but let's just do it just for the sake of keeping our sanity. Put on a mask, trying to find you some sanitizer, wash your hands. And I mean, in the beginning, I understand because we just didn't have the supplies and people just weren't, no one was able to produce enough. But now we're starting to get a slow supply of it. People are starting to get access to it. I'm like, hey, let's just go ahead and do it. I understand it's been mentally stressful that everything has literally been like your whole routine, your freedom, it's been minimized. I get it. And I know people are frustrated, but we got to fight this. And it takes common sense, which is so not common nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point I was trying to make.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite quotes from, I think is Voltaire, who initially said it, but common sense is not so common. And like, you can't help but see it nowadays.
So where you're at, BK, how are they dealing with like people going to public spots like supermarkets and stuff?
Mask mandate. Don't come in without it. You see it right on the doors. As a matter of fact, check this out. I went to a Burger King about a month or so ago, and I had my mask on, and like, I think I was putting it on as I walked in, and the young girl was like, "Hold on, if you don't have your mask," I said, "I got it right here." She's like, "Okay," because she had a box of masks. She's like, "Well, we can either turn away our customers, or we just give you a mask and help you out." And I was like, "That's brilliant. That's good that Burger King is supporting that." So if they're doing that, if they're paying for it, shout out to them. That right there. It was like they're just going to null and void. They're just going to like, here, take this. Now we can serve you.
Wow.
And they're doing completely hands-free. So they take your money, put it in a cup, take your card, put it in the cup. They'll handle it at that point, which, I mean, you only minimize it a little bit, but you're still going to touch the same surface. Or they're doing the whole thing. They put it in a tray and they hand you your food. I can see what they're trying to do. They're trying their best to do as much as possible. And I respect that.
Possible. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's one of those. Yeah. Well, my question is this. Even if masks only help by 5%, why would you not be the asshole and just say, all right, I'll just wear it to give 5%? Maybe that 5% is some old guy that I don't know, or maybe somebody's newborn baby that just doesn't have any,
But that's the whole point. Is a lot of people, in the United States, we're such an individualist society that we don't see how we're connected with everybody else. And we really just are selfish and worry about ourselves. Did you guys see that video of in Niagara Falls where they had the Canadian company that was going down under the falls and they were socially distanced? There's probably like maybe 10 or 15 people on the boat that was going past the falls on the Canadian side. Meanwhile, on the American side, in the opposite direction, it was full, packed with customers, going to see Niagara Falls, didn't care about social distancing. They didn't care about masks. So I think that's a good contrast between what's going on in other countries as opposed to what's happening in America. It's always going to be profit before people.
Yeah.
So let me look this up. Oh, yeah, because okay, first of all, the reason I was able to look this up so quickly is the name of the boat traditionally that goes under Niagara Falls is always called the Maid of the Mist. Now, it might be the Maid of the Mist. Yeah. Might be the Maid of the Mist. But I mean, at least before I was born, it was called the Maid of the Mist.
Yeah, look at that.
Wow. That picture was taken 4 days ago. And they're both two tour companies.
So there's you can count them on one hand, right? 5 people, maybe less than that on the Canadian side.
Yeah, you can actually, that sums it up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's why we have the spread.
I always find it awkward when people pretend that it doesn't, like, it's not real. Laura said he'll be back later if he can. But people act like it's not real. Like the entire world is lying at the same time together about whether or not this is deadly.
Yeah, that's the part. Like everyone is saying something about it. So it should at least make you raise an eyebrow.
Absolutely.
Make you like, we're all talking about it. No, not just everyone in one area, across the entire globe.
Exactly.
So you need to like pay attention, even if you don't like it. Like, let me at least hear this out.
And what do? How do you
hold on for the ride? Hold on for the ride. That's what I always tell folks. Be safe out there and all this craziness. Hold on for the ride, because you can't force people. Like, you can like, hey, really imply it. You can try and bribe them to do some things or by force. But if somebody just really don't want to do it, and it's unfortunate.
And like I said about leadership, when you have a president, and for the record, like I tell people all the time, I wanted Trump to win because it was him or Hillary Clinton, and I wanted to make sure if the world burned, it burned faster. But who could have foreseen a situation where it's in the best interest of any sitting president to have chaos inside the country? Like, right. How do you can't write that up.
Mm-mm. You can't make this up if you wanted to. It sounds just like a novel.
It's one of those, when you have chaos, he wins. That's it. But that's the world we live in right now. We've got to move forward. I don't know. Listen, I've got a bunch of birthday emails that I have to reply to and phone calls I have to make. Thank you. Today
My
has
pleasure,
been,
brother. My pleasure.
Happy birthday, brother. May you have many, many more.
See you guys later.
All right, man. Take care.
Bye.
Okay.
Hey, see you, Craig.
Peace.